They had a will, they had instructions, and they even talked to their kids. But when Greg died suddenly, everything still went wrong. Probate court, frozen accounts, a remarried spouse, it all created a mess that took over a year to untangle and cost the family near $70,000 in legal fees and delays. It wasn't because they didn't plan, it's because they didn't plan the right way. You see, these situations, they aren't rare, they're common, and they're almost always avoidable. My name is Chris McClure, and for the last 30 years, I've helped successful families avoid the biggest estate planning mistakes before it's too late. If you're over age 55 and want to make sure that your legacy doesn't unravel, let's walk through the 7 most common mistakes I see and how to avoid them. In this video, you'll learn why a will might actually cause problems instead of solving them. You'll also learn the one step that protects your kids' inheritance, even in a divorce, and a simple fix that keeps your plan from becoming dangerously outdated without you even realizing it. So let's start with mistake number 1. Mistake number 1 is relying only on a will. A will does not avoid probate. In fact, it opens probate. Probate is public. It often takes 9 to 18 months, and depending on your state, it can cost 3 to 5% of your estate in fees. One couple I worked with had a $2.2 million estate. Because they relied solely on a will, over $85,000 went to costs for attorneys, court costs, fees, and delays. You see, a living trust would have let them bypass the entire probate process and save their kids both money and stress. Mistake number 2 is not updating beneficiaries. Even if your trust is perfect, this one 5-minute oversight can override everything. You see, we once reviewed a client's life insurance policy, and he had bought it in the 1990s. He bought it from his uncle, who had since left the business. That insurance policy still named his first wife as the beneficiary. 30 years and unfortunately 2 marriages later, he was shocked. And here's the catch. Beneficiary forms override everything, even your trust. In this case, it was a $500,000 policy, and one quick update could have prevented a life-altering mistake. Mistake number 3, leaving assets outright to your kids. You see, one family left their 27-year-old son almost $2 million. 2 years later, he went through a divorce. And because the inheritance wasn't protected in a trust, his ex-spouse or his ex-wife walked away with nearly half. Now imagine if that money had been placed in a trust, specifically in what I call a bloodline trust. The son would have had full access and full protection, and the money would still be in the family. Mistake number 4 is not planning for getting sick. And this one is sneaky because it has nothing to do with death. It's not really estate planning, is it? If you don't have a power of attorney or a medical directive, your family may be forced to go to court just to help you. I had a client named Carol who had a stroke at age 68, unfortunately. Her daughter couldn't access any of her accounts, even just to pay the gas bill. It took them 3 months and over $6,000 in legal filings to get access, all because Carol didn't have the right documents in place. She had a will, she had a trust, but she didn't have the right powers of attorney or healthcare directive. Let's quickly reset here. We're about halfway through, and the next few mistakes, they're even more common, especially if your plan is more than 5 years old. Mistake number 5 is forgetting to fund the trust. Creating a living trust is step 1. It's a great idea and you should do it. However, retitling your assets into it is step 2. And it's the step most people skip. We saw a family with $4 million in real estate and a few $1,000,000 in brokerage accounts. Their trust was flawless, but none of their assets were titled in it. When the husband passed away, everything went through probate. It was like building a vault, building a safe, and forgetting to put your jewelry inside. Mistake number 6 is treating estate planning as a one-and-done event. One couple had a trust drafted in 2005. It was perfect. It worked fine for their situation then. But by 2023, their portfolio had grown from $5 million to $20 million, and their estate tax exposure had skyrocketed. We restructured their plan and incorporated trusts for each of the children. That planning alone helped them avoid almost $3 million in estate taxes. Estate planning should evolve. It should evolve as your life does. It's not a one-time document. It's really a living, breathing strategy. Mistake number 7 is ignoring family dynamics. A client of mine named Bill left everything 50-50 to his 2 kids. But after he passed, his new wife inherited the house because they never updated their trust. The kids were left out completely. And because the surviving spouse wasn't their mother, communication broke down fast, unfortunately. So what should have been a smooth transfer turned into a 2-year legal battle that completely fractured the family. So if you're over age 55 or older and you haven't reviewed your estate plan in the last 3 years, there's a good chance it's out of sync with your goals. See, I'm a weirdo. I like to read living trusts, and I read wills word for word. I review these estate plans every week for successful families, especially those with multiple properties, blended families, or significant investment accounts. If you want to make sure your plan actually works when it matters most, use the link below to schedule a confidential call or download our free estate planning guide. Either way, you'll walk away with clarity and more peace of mind. I really do love making these videos, and I hope this one helps you protect everything you've worked so hard to build. And if you found it helpful, you'll definitely want to watch my next video where I show how to pass on wealth without creating family drama. It's linked right here on the screen. Thanks a lot, and talk to you soon.